The People's Democratic Party in Ogun State has urged the governor of the state, Dapo Abiodun, to take responsibility for the failure recorded in the distribution of palliative rice rolled out to cushion the effect of subsidy removal from petroleum products in the country. The PDP gave this charge on Sunday in a statement signed by its Publicity Secretary, Asiwaju Akinloye Bankole, in reaction to a viral video of a man alleged to be the chairman of Shokeye CDA in Ogun State, who condemned and questioned the manner in which the palliatives were being shared. Now, let's take a look at this.
Black Iwansosa. I am the chairman of Shokeye. For now, I am the chairman Shokeye CDA. And I was just at home now, and they brought this for me as palliative for the whole of Shokeye estate. In this estate, we have 147 houses with families and tenants living there. I'm confused now. I don't know how to share this for 147 households in Shokeye estate. If you guys, the government, I'm talking to Dapo Abiodun now. If you people know you cannot do something, don't do it. We are not hungry, we are not beggars. So we don't need your rice as palliative. This is not even one bag. This is not up to an eighth of a bag of rice. Tí ó bá ṣe é ṣe, ẹ má force ara yín láti ṣe, à ń ṣe lébi mi báyìí. So èmi aláìkí ń gbé rice padà kó bá mi gbé lọ fún Dapo Abiodun, kó gbé padà sí ọ̀gá ẹ̀ Tinubu tó rán, kó gbé fún àwọn ọmọ wọn. À ń ṣe lébi, Ọlọ́run ò dẹ̀ ní ṣe wálé lébi. So that is it. We don't need this rice. If you want to give us palliative, don't insult us. This is an insult. Shokeye estate refused to be insulted. God bless you.
And, well, and I think, it must be also said, that when you see some of these things, it almost is an actual insult to Nigerians and to the poor. When you see the way that these palliatives are being shared, tossed, to these people, that are scrambling for them, and, crawled on the floor to pick a pack of noodles or, a little bag of rice or some onions. It's an insult to the Nigerian people. It feels like the poor are not only kept poor, but they are being insulted and degraded even more by the way that these things are done. Well, reacting to the viral video, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Lekan Adeniran, in a statement said the government was aware that some agents of the opposition have resorted to media blackmail to discredit the current administration. But of course, even with that, still wasn't able to show that they gave more as palliatives to Shokeye community. So, I mean, what he simply said is the opposition is trying to blackmail us, but we don't have any other, proof to show that we did better than, or that these videos are false or that they are wrong. I would continue to repeat that every single local government, aside palliatives, let's take away the palliatives conversation, every single local government in Nigeria receives between 100 to 200 million naira every month. These funds are meant to be used for the people who live in those local governments, but don't seem to be found. And once again, yes, I agree with the man in this video that it's an insult.
It's embarrassing.
It's an insult to the poor people, it's an insult to the citizens of Nigeria, that this is how you treat them.
Especially when you're talking about when we talk about making sacrifices, which is a speech that the president gave on Nigeria's 63rd independence, that things will get better, they get rough before they get better, that aspire to perspire speech. So you say that to the Nigerian people, and we're seeing legislators living their best life. The Punch newspaper this morning, the front page of the Punch newspaper, we're seeing that the story there says, federal government may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives. What exactly are they going to do with that? 15 million households to get 1.13 trillion for 3 months. 125 billion naira for MSMEs and others. People with disabilities demand more palliatives from Sanwo-Olu. Kwara IDPs get relief materials. You see all these papers, all the stories on the front pages of the papers, and you're wondering, where exactly is the money going? At the very beginning,
Where is it even coming from?
exactly. So at the beginning of this conversation about palliatives, when the president announced that subsidy is gone and the cost of living skyrocketed, and they started to talk about palliatives, we talked about it on the show, and this was our major concern. That this is not the first time we've heard conversations about palliatives. When COVID first struck in 2020, there were palliatives, and the palliatives were wrapped with so much corruption. There were people that profited from the quote-unquote distribution of palliatives. And months after, we stumbled on warehouses where they had palliatives that had expired, palliatives that were meant to help
for
people of Nigeria in that very trying time. So a number of people raised eyebrows and were totally against the sharing of palliatives. Okay, now you've decided to go ahead because people are actually suffering and need these things. But look at what we're saying, that tiny bag of rice for how many people in a community. So how exactly are they meant to share it? One cup of rice. It's very disheartening, it's heartbreaking, it's appalling, it's embarrassing that any government, if this can be confirmed, I'm hoping that the government comes out to give an answer to this and to assure us that this is not what is happening in the rest of the country, that this is not how they're giving communities one tiny bag of rice for over 100 households.
Well, it's not the rest of the country. I mean, this is what
even
saying
this one
just for Ogun State.
Yes, so this is
in
one.
other parts in Lagos, it was slightly different. Not saying better, but different.
Did you see I don't know, I can't remember which state it is now, that posted a picture of one cup of rice and one very tiny palm oil, groundnut oil tied in. Is that not embarrassing?
That's why I said it. That's why I would say it was different. The way that it's packaged is different, but it doesn't take away the insult that it's come with.
Is that insult that I'm talking about? That's a national insult that we should work in?
It's an insult to to Nigerians, an insult to the poor people that you are supposedly claiming to try to help. You're insulting them, you are degrading them, and it feels like you have not beaten them enough with poverty. You need to also insult them, on top, and make them scramble for crumbs of food just so that they can feed. And in the end, I did say it earlier that this changes absolutely nothing, for these people. No matter how many palliatives you choose to give them, the palliative that you should be giving them is steady electricity.
Palliative should be the naira getting
reducing
stronger.
the cost of petrol.
Yes.
Palliative you should be giving them is, giving them infrastructure with which they can run their businesses and, live. Those are the palliatives on Nigerians.
Well, it will be said that these ones are temporary measures, but even these temporary measures are not doing much.
Yeah, but what the permanent measures are?
Permanent measures would be to give
poor electricity supply and bad roads and poor healthcare
and the declining naira.
Declining naira, exactly.
And that begs the question if the current administration is aware of what needs to be done to resuscitate Nigeria from its already very dilapidated state. Because as things are worse than they were when the current administration took over office, it is actually worse. It's taking a downward spiral, right? So the question that a number of people are asking is, does this current administration know what it needs to do to resuscitate Nigeria, to bring Nigeria out of this mess? Because it looks like they're stumbling, a bit blindly. Try this, it doesn't work. Okay, let's try this. It's almost like what they call that thing in the streets, Papa Jebu.
Yeah, but so the thing is, because they just got into office, it's only natural that you would give them benefit of doubt and you give them some time.
How long is benefit of doubt time?
Yeah, that's the thing. But the challenge is, when you decide that you are going to give someone, that benefit of doubt and you're going to give them some time to prove themselves, you must already start to see the very, very teething signs on the earlier stages that, okay, these people seem to know what is at stake and what must be done. But the challenge with the current administration is that if you choose to give out 5 billion naira per state, knowing that these funds will not get to the people that they are meant to go and it, eventually would be wasted, if you choose to buy SUVs for National Assembly members, 160 million naira was quoted in the document for each vehicle that's going to be for the National Assembly members. If people are being sent prayers in their emails, these are already signs to the Nigerian people that, okay, you claim to want to be put us on the right track, but from your actions, it shows that you still aren't willing to save the country from the financial crisis that it's currently dealing with. They are still talking about borrowing loans, more money to give off as palliatives. And so those are the challenges here, that these people don't seem to really understand what must be done. They might say it, but they don't seem to, to really be interested. And once again, please don't insult Nigerians that you claim to be coming to save and coming to help. Don't insult the poor Nigerians because they didn't steal. The only crime is that they are poor.
Anyway.